Game Up makes a thirst-quenching adult beverage, special blend of electrolytes, a hard hydration drink. Comes in fruit punch, orange, lemon lime, and grape.
Yes, it does. And it's a full flavored drink, folks. 110 calories per can. So low carb. Enjoy it. Get some Game Up. UFC Fight Night this weekend. Derrick Lewis is in action.
It is Rodrigo Nascimento.
Let's talk about a few fights on this card.
The prelims on this are actually great if you're a hardcore MMA fan, which if you're listening to our podcast, I assume you are. Shout out to a few fights on here. JJ Aldridge, Veronica Hardy, Dan Hardy's wife leading off the card. Local fighter to us, Billy Goff. He's fighting Trey Waters, so shout out to Billy Goff. We'll be keeping an eye on that one. Tabitha Ricci, Tisha Pennington, formerly Tisha Torres. And then the featured bout is very exciting. Chase Hooper versus Vyacheslav Borishev. Great kickboxer, not a lot of not a lot of grappling. Obviously the opposite for Chase Hooper. So grappler versus striker. Chase has looked good lately, so I'm rooting for him. Also on the undercard, Waldo Cortes-Acosta is fighting. I'm not going to try to pronounce this guy's name. He's the new Cuban Taekwondo guy who has like 10 fights and has only fought for like a total of 40 seconds. Keep an eye out on that one. That one's leading off the main card. The guy's a monster. He has one fight in the UFC, I believe. And then also keep an eye out, Alex Caceres versus Sean Woodson. Bruce Leroy always puts on a good show.
Yeah, been a long-time fighter for the UFC now, too.
Oh, yeah, over 10 years. Let's get into this co-main event. Joaquin Buckley did some campaigning to get on this card. He wanted to be the main event, ended up taking the co-main event spot. So it's Joaquin Buckley versus Nursulton Ruziboev, I think.
Yeah, he might regret doing this, but we'll see. Ruziboev is 34-8-2, 12 KOs, 20 decisions. He's on a 10-fight winning streak, and he's 2-0 in the UFC. Also, if you look at that, 20 subs. So he's definitely having an advantage on the ground. He was also 2-0 as a boxer in 2022. I'm not telling you this guy's about it, but it sounds like he's definitely somebody who works on his striking as well. Buckley, 18-6, 13 knockouts, 5 decisions. He's on a 3-fight winning streak. He has 4 performances of the night. He's a dynamic fighter. Man, this feels like, I don't know. I don't like the style matchup here, based on what I'm reading and what I'm seeing. But I'm going to go with Buckley because I'm a little more familiar with him, and he's had some tougher opponents. But this could be a tough night for him. Buckley by second round TKO. Yeah,
both guys are finishers. Burton Nursulton would be considered more well-rounded. With that being said, Buckley is a huge step up in competition for him, and Buckley has the touch of death. So I'm with you. I'm going to pick Buckley by round 2 KO. Main card, a couple of big heavyweights. Derrick Lewis versus Rodrigo Nascimento.
All right, Nascimento, 11-1-1, 2 KOs, 6 sub, 3 decisions. He's 4-1-1 in the UFC. He actually started off with a loss and a draw. So his one loss, though, this is interesting. I always mess up his name. Chris Dukakis?
Yeah, Chris Dukakis.
This Chris Dukakis.
Who is not in the UFC anymore. He got cut.
Yeah, that is his one loss, and he got knocked out. So let's keep that in mind. Derrick Lewis is 27-12-1, 22 KOs, 1 subs, 4 decision. It's funny, as I was reading this today, too. I'm sure I've done this before, but I always get fucking like, who did Derrick Lewis submit?
Yeah.
I read it was early in his career, and it was an arm bar. And I just feel like he must have just grabbed this guy's arm and probably almost ripped it out or something.
Yeah, he like just rolled by accident to his back just by his weight carrying him backwards, snapped the guy's arm off.
Performance of the night for Derrick Lewis 5 times, fight of the night 3 times. He's one of those kill or be killed guys. He's been involved in a lot of exciting fights, a few stinkers too, but he's just a guy who's going to try to go for the knockout. When I look at Nascimento's record and I look at some of the stuff, I think he's a more well-rounded fighter, but pretty much everybody Derrick Lewis fights as a more well-rounded fighter, so that's nothing. It's that one knockout he has getting caught. This is the heavyweight. Anything can happen. I don't like to play MMA math, but when I see that, I think, I don't know if you can take a Derrick Lewis punch, though. So that's for that reason. Maybe I'm going with my heart, but Derrick Lewis, first-round knockout.
I would assume Rodrigo is aware of Black Beast's power, his power advantage, and his lack of BJJ skills. His best bet is to tire Lewis out with clinching and grappling before going for a sub. He needs to remember position over submission, because if you don't get the sub on Derrick Lewis, he's going to put you to sleep once he gets up in those scrambles and stuff is when he catches a lot of guys. So obviously I would like Black Beast to KO this guy, no disrespect, but Derrick is the best, obviously. You want him to win just for his post-fight interviews, really. But I do think I am going to pick Nascimento. I assume it's going to be another boring fight similar to Almeida where he just grapples and tries to lay on top of him as much as possible, tires him out. I think he gets a round 3 sub. He's fought some tough guys and he has a good fight IQ, so I'll pick Nascimento. But I hope he gets knocked out.
It's got to be one of those others, I imagine.